somebody put this video in my comments, and it comes from uh Jason Amaru Speaks, JESSAHN Amaru Speaks, and the title is Tupac Was Right About Snoop Dogg. And it's not that long. We're just gonna check it out and see what they talking about. How was Tupac right about Snoop Dogg all along?
With me. But man, Tupac was right about Snoop, bro. There are way too many occasions, way too many situations where we are able to see the true character of Snoop Dogg. It happens too often. We finna go over all of those moments, all of the major moments where we got to witness Snoop's character, because it happens too often. Now let's start with the fact that you're performing at the Trump inauguration. This is one of the many things that prove how flip-floppy and how much of an opportunist Snoop Dogg really is, bro. Now, you can have your own personal political views. I don't know you. However, not that long ago, you made a video saying that anybody that performs for Trump's inauguration is a, you know what, let me just show you.
There you
Anybody
go.
gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo ass niggas gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the fuck out of one of you Uncle Tom ass niggas for doing it. Which one of you niggas gonna do it?
You. It was you, bro. Do you realize all of the things that you called yourself? Do you realize all the things that you are? Because you did.
But if you somehow agree with his assessment and call him all the things he said, you the hater.
What you told other people not to do. Do we not understand how much character that shows? How much that really tells you about Snoop Dogg? Like, bro, this is crazy. And what makes it even crazier is we're not even near done. I can go to the next example, right? Let's go. Let's talk about Biggie Smalls for a second, bro. Now, we all know about the East versus West beef. And, bro, that was a very serious situation, bro. That wasn't just some rap stuff. A lot of people was getting involved in a lot of things because of this. This will show you just how flip-floppy Snoop Dogg is. The thing about Snoop Dogg is in present time, he's getting in these interviews trying to make it seem like he was just above all this stuff and he wasn't super involved with the West Coast beef. But bro, he was just as involved, dog. Even going as far as to say that he hated Hit 'Em Up when he first heard it because he felt like Tupac was going too far and he was going to keep causing problems. And Napoleon, which is one of the outlaws, said that Snoop Dogg is lying and that
Was he scared? Because he didn't feel that way when he was talking that shit about BG Knockout, Eazy-E, Drayster, and Uncle Luke.
He enjoyed Hit 'Em Up when he first heard it. Napoleon be calling out Snoop on everything, bro. I love it. Anyway, in the midst of this East versus West rivalry, right? Snoop Dogg goes to New York to shoot a music video. Biggie Smalls hears about this. He gets on the radio and he tells everybody, yo, do not let them shoot that music video. They coming up to Brooklyn, boom, boom, boom. Go handle that. Basically sending people to go get at Snoop Dogg. Somebody did. They literally went up to Snoop Dogg's bus and they shot it up, bro. That's crazy. You could have lost your life in that situation. Everybody that was with Snoop could have lost their life in that situation. They could have died. And this situation took the East Coast, West Coast beef to a whole other level, bro. And Snoop Dogg was in the middle of it. Snoop Dogg even gets on some songs and this is Biggie, bro. Like facts. But then later on, he gets on an interview in the middle of the East versus West beef. He gets in an interview and he says he's cool with these guys. He says he's cool with Biggie. And he had made a trip out there to the East Coast and was around them and shit. How could you possibly say that on air when you know the dude that you're friends with?
I could be mistaken, but I believe Gene Deal say that he came to New York and been around them was a lie. I might be mistaken.
Feels like he was set up by these people and they also try to get rid of you. And you go on the interview saying you cool with them and you, what? That's crazy, bro. People try to act like Tupac was wrong for feeling that way. No, I don't think so. I really don't think he was wrong for feeling the way he felt about Snoop at the end of his life. And that was a main reason, bro. But that's not the only reason. We can keep going. Talk about the fact that Snoop Dogg is always lying when it comes to situations involving Tupac. Always painted Tupac out to be this super off the wall, angry guy. And then you hear the actual story from somebody that was there and it's completely different, bro. For example, when he goes to tell the story about Tupac and Nas meeting each other in New York, he made it seem like Tupac was the instigator and that it was just a couple people with Tupac and he was outnumbered. He painted this whole picture, making it like Nas was being chill, but Tupac was the one going crazy. Like he tried to paint a certain picture of Tupac. Then Nas gets in an interview and says that Snoop Dogg is lying.
Chip, what was it?
I heard Snoop told the story a few times, but he had it.
Not only did Nas say Snoop didn't tell the truth, the Outlaws were saying Snoop didn't tell the truth. As a matter of fact, the Outlaws said he wasn't even there. That is insane, bruh. To tell that type of story and you were not even there is crazy. Almost feels like you're intentionally trying to paint this bad image about Tupac, because that's not the only time he's done that. We don't even got to stay on this one. Let's go to the next topic. Just did it with Kendrick Lamar. He just did it with Kendrick Lamar, bro. And not really just Kendrick, the whole West Coast for real. If y'all remember, Drake's dropped something called Tailor Made Freestyle during the beef, where he used a Tupac AI voice and a Tupac Snoop Dogg voice to diss Kendrick Lamar, bro. There's so many things wrong with that. There are so many things wrong with that. First of all, you promoting any type of AI music, outrageous. Outrageous to do it on that scale and call that. If Drake would have won, who knows what the industry would look like right now. But then Tupac's not even alive, bro. Tupac is not alive. That's a legend that you're using to mock Kendrick Lamar. That's crazy, bro. Crazy as Snoop Dogg get on Instagram and try to make jokes about it, trying to make it seem like it's funny. And then he posted Tailor Made to go with it. He posted Tailor Made on top of that. Or are you just on a fence when something like that?
I'm surprised by a nigga that wore French tips, the French tip grip.
That is taking place, bro. That is crazy to me. That is super crazy to me, bro. Another situation where Snoop Dogg is iffy. He's an opportunist. He picks sides when it's necessary. He answers to his wallet. Like, Snoop Dogg don't stand on any foundation at all, bro. And I really could keep going, but I'm gonna just stop right here, bro. At the end of the day, Tupac was not wrong for how he felt about Snoop Dogg. And if y'all keep saying that, bro, y'all are just choosing to ignore all of the evidence out there that proves that Snoop's been the same person since back then. If he's doing these things now, I'm pretty sure he was doing those things then, bro. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel. We're gonna be doing
Ain't all the snakes Snoop Dogg been responsible for. Trade I'm sure he's forgiven and don't rehash old stuff, but he's been through some things with Snoop Dogg. You hear Dad steady crying and complaining. But people forget murder was the case. The video, Snoop depicted himself selling his soul to the devil. It was very graphic. And it seemed like he'd been rolling off that ever since. Bring your lifestyle to me, I'll make it better. How long will I live? Eternal life for forever. But will I be the G that I'll make your life more better than you can imagine or ever dream of. Just relax your soul. Let me take control. Close your eyes, my son. My eyes are closed.
Get you some money, you're gonna feel different.
Straight up.
You might even, all that other advice I could have gave you, this is the short version. You know, get you a couple dollars, man. You're gonna feel different.
Hey, little Nip Hustle. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.